Hey folks, welcome to Landscape YouTube. We're gonna do something I haven't done. I don't know if I've done like specifically a product review or a style product review, and I'm not talking style, I am fashion forward, no doubt. But I did want to talk about like what types of boxes work well for hardscape construction, landscape construction, and what we've enjoyed a lot. Now this isn't paid from Milwaukee Mill or anything like that. We just have been using this system, whether you go rigid or Stanley or whoever the heck out there makes like a system like this. I want to encourage you to consider it. And things we love about is mobility and being able to get stuff on and off trucks and around a site fast. And so what we like about these things is when they're wheeled carts like this, being able to get them around a site, get them up and down trailers and on and off, and how you can separate these units. Ideally, maybe want to lock them in together, that's cool. You can run a little lock through them, although it doesn't make them theft proof by any stretch. But these really are slick because you can mix and match and move the different systems around and run all sorts of different configurations any way you want. And a big shout out to John Henry, buddy of mine, that turned me on to this shelf and drawer system. How you're able to access through the drawers instead of having to lift the lid, because this bottom trunk unit here I can't get into unless we remove all that stuff. So I actually don't use the trunk. What goes in that trunk is our least used stuff. I can't stress enough, I don't care what brand you get, buy the best brand you can afford at the time. So much of these systems are just gonna be based on like how functional they are for your company. And the bad thing about it is it's kind of like once you begin to invest, you get you go all red or all orange, like you become really, DeWalt has one I think now, you're kind of team whatever, orange, red, yellow, whatever it is. You kind of start to have to go ham on it because that's how things are outfitted. So, choose wisely, I would say. Again, being able to move around site, I write all over them in permanent marker, like this is my personal, I say personal, but this is for my use around the shop. Being as we don't have a full-blown like dedicated shop tool system yet, we will, but just not yet. But I've got permanent marker written on all these, knowing, and anybody that wants to access these quick knows what the inventory is in these things. So top drawers, PPE and basic stuff like pencils, and then also locks. Mainly to keep my kids out of my tools. I learned now from my dad why he used to lock his toolbox from my brother and I, because, well, a lot of stuff doesn't make it quite back, or sometimes things get used in ways they're not supposed to. Can you imagine such a thing? So, what we really love about that, again, mobility, accessibility, and when you're moving stuff in and out of trucks, like that access issue, that's a big deal. You want to be able to be in and out of your truck or your van or whatever, moving your tools as rapidly as possible. You don't want to spend a bunch of time every day moving, carrying a bunch of stuff in and out. So, you run these PACKOUT, red PACKOUT systems to the moon to take all your carpentry stuff in, or all your, again, on this setup here, kind of backwards here, but, these drawers are my drills, flashlight, kind of the handheld units, versus down here is more of the sawing stuff. So this, by the way, is one of the best. I love that. An oscillating saw, of course, a different kind of sawzall, angle grinders, all that stuff. And then down in the tub is, again, the stuff I use less often. That's kind of the idea there. But, even still, like, versus where you're carrying, the amount of, you can see how dusty it is, how rarely this is used now. But, our traditional toolboxes of the past where you can't link systems together and all that kind of stuff is, I believe these systems are kind of going by the wayside. We do set up some totes like this for specific tasks, just because, again, like to outfit a whole Milwaukee thing or red brand to do just our lighting kits for low voltage lighting systems and stuff like that. We will continue to upgrade always. As you have to do what you got to do, buy the best tools you can afford at the time, and keep moving and upgrading forward. And then slowly, if you're going to go red or orange, just slowly start building your kit up from there as cash or finances allow. So with that being said, again, I love being able to move our systems around. Just kind of interlock different stuff. If I wanted to take this is again, this is part of our lighting kit that goes with our low voltage lighting systems, and it's got all sorts of that kind of stuff with it. If I wanted to just grab this quick briefcase, we're going off the races, but they make all these universal pod things on the bottom that you can buy just these racks. I've seen these mounted on the back of snowmobiles, so you can just put an emergency kit on there. I've seen guys turn these into crazy pages on Instagram where they're first aid kits solely put into these things, customized, all that kind of stuff. And then, you know, you still got your dolly set up. Like this is our hardscape talk. We'll have a video talking about what all is just in a hardscape setup, what all the pieces and hammers, and all that's kind of in a basic setup. With that being said, we really love being able to have these things and get them around. Mr. Bo has a whole setup in his truck that's totally outfitted to what he needs on the truck. When you're, especially with these drawers, you really want to be able to, you know, lock these things in so that if these things tip or anything like that, the drawers don't go, you know, flying open and crazy stuff like that. We love these things. Just get the best stuff you can afford at the time. That's the number one thing, and just be as mobile as you possibly can so you're not making 40 trips of like arms full of stuff to get around back of a house or whatever. You want to make sure that you can be as mobile as possible. And even if, like my friend Swihart, he's building these cage things that they're setting all this stuff in, and then they're taking a skid steer and picking a whole cage of all their stuff needs to go into the backyard for a project up in one pass, and they're not making 1, 2, 3, 4 trips into the backyard, they're making one, and stuff like that's smart, and that's the gearing in your head you got to start going for. So I think that's it on these things. Buy the best stuff you can afford at the time. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, all that stuff. Check out Kid Contractor Podcast, check out the trades, the Hardscape Academy, all those things. Thanks, folks.